So back when I was a kid, I remember watching the reruns of G.I. Joe. And no, I was not born in the 80s or 90s. But I remembered really liking it back then, so I decided to revisit it recently. And more specifically, we're going to be revisiting the episode today, which has to do with everybody's most favorite word, AI. And how the 80s thought about the whole situation. So if you're ready, let's review an episode from G.I. Joe called A Pit of Vipers. It starts off with us seeing a giant building in the distance, which a crazy amount of Cobra troops are deploying from, which might just have the most amount of characters animated on screen across the entire series. So the Joe team ends up getting wind of this giant attack and wonders, why in the world did we not realize that Cobra was building a giant base in the desert?
How could they have built that thing without our satellites picking it up?
So they obviously send all of their troops to combat all of the Cobra troops coming in. But then as they're just about to start attacking the building, they hear some robotic voice saying they're granted access to the building.
Simulation terminated. Access permitted.
And they're like, huh?
Simulation?
And stay on guard as they enter the main control room of the building. When they get inside, they're contacted by the Defense Department, which tells them that they built it, and is codenamed Watchdog.
And it's the world's most advanced computer system.
The first of its kind. Or mostly built by Professor Hamilton? Whatever, who cares who built it? Wait, but I do have to question this. Okay, so they actually also learn that Cobra forces were just
holograms.
But then, wouldn't their forces not be holograms and have real bullets? Wouldn't they have been shooting at the building or something the whole time? Maybe the bullets just got disintegrated in midair or something? I don't know. It's really weird. So Duke asks the Defense Department what the point of all of this is.
What's the point?
And the Defense Department tells him that Watchdog is going to be their new commander.
Is the Joe team's new, commander, Flint?
Oh boy, you can see where this is going.
Watchdog is constantly scanning every single inch of the globe at all times, which is kind of crazy. Good thing they don't know about what's happening with AI in the future. Also, every member of the Joe team is given a communicator so that they can talk directly to the AI. Duke highly resists the idea and is like, no way, bro.
We're supposed to take orders from a pile of silicon chips?
So they implement it and take it for a test drive. It tells them the location of a Cobra vessel. Duke asks for a rundown, but Watchdog has already sent their sea forces to attack the vessel. And of course, they attack the vessel with their missiles and end up destroying it. And just as they destroy it, they're told to fly back to the sea carrier because Watchdog has another order for them already. Duke questions why Cobra Commander and Destro weren't aboard the vessel. Their main enemies.
Any sign of Cobra Commander or Destro? They were supposed to be aboard the Cerebus.
As Watchdog said that they were supposed to be on it. But they go to investigate the wreckage of the Cerebus, that's the name of the ship, and it's mysteriously disappeared. They keep looking for debris, survivors, anything, but they don't find squat.
We'll, beat the problem to Watchdog.
Watchdog analyzes the situation, reports back to Shipwreck and the team surprisingly quickly.
Cerebus covered by sediment at ocean floor. Return to USS Flag at once.
But Shipwreck doesn't like the answer. In fact, he hates it so much that he decides to throw his communicator straight into the torpedo bay and launch it right out of his submarine straight into sharks to be eaten.
What happened?
A computer error, maybe.
A wise strategy. And keeps searching for the missing ship. Then they get their next orders from Watchdog.
Florida Everglades. Personnel, Flint, gung-ho.
Guess I've got my orders.
We then cut to Cobra and Destro laughing their heads off aboard the Cerebus, talking about how genius their plan is.
Becomes easier to defeat G.I. Joe when the U.S. government foots part of the bill.
We also learn that they've been building a giant drill, which is supposed to be invincible, which will definitely not come back later. Scarlet wonders where everyone in the base is, and is told that Watchdog sent them all over the place. We see the team split up into different groups, going to different areas, which they've been told is supposed to have active Cobra bases, but are full of a whole lot of nada. Apparently Watchdog's not doing a very good job, huh? If only that could be compared to modern AI.
This is what we've slogged through 200 miles of swamp for?
But Watchdog is confident that all of these locations
99% probability.
99%, huh? They keep following the orders.
Watchdog keeps barking up all the wrong trees.
Go back to Shipwreck, and he's actually found where the Cerebus has been hiding. But since he's all alone, Cobra easily captures him. Also, we end up learning that Dr. Hamill is actually Zartan. So when Shipwreck wakes up in this fake hospital room and tells him that Watchdog found him in time, Cobra just tells him their entire plan.
Destro designed it, and Dr. Hamler saw
sold it to the Pentagon.
I feel like it would have been more productive if they just kept feeding him the lies a little bit longer and kept him in his cell for recovery or something like that. You guys fumbled the bag on this one. We also learned that the giant super drill is officially ready to mine up anything in sight. Also, I forgot to mention that since Zartan is actually Dr. Hamill and Zartan is working for Cobra, that means the Watchdog is also under Cobra's control, which means the Cobra's actually been sending G.I. Joe on a wild goose chase the entire time, which is really good strategy-wise, but I can't help but feel like it would have been a little bit funnier if it was just Watchdog throwing the bag, and probably more relatable that way too, but oh well. Also, when they sent the drill out, they also disabled Joe's entire defense system, so they're going to be left unprotected when drill starts demolishing their entire base. Oh yeah, did I mention that the drill destroys the entire Joe's base, or half of it, as we find out later? So anyways, Destro kills Shipwreck real quick. They watch the destruction on their 10-screen gaming setup back at their base. Shipwreck being literally right behind them and not in a cell for some reason. Actually, it's probably so we can see his friend's base get destroyed or something. Anyways, plays to Cobra's hubris and convinces him to call the Joe headquarters to brag.
I must have gotten the wrong number. I thought I was calling a scrapyard.
Which ends up turning back on their communications, and then Shipwreck is able to tell them that Watchdog is a phony.
Watchdog belongs to Cobra! Take it out!
Now Cobra's wondering what will happen if the Joes do attack Watchdog, but Destro says it best here.
Watchdog can take care of itself.
Anyways, back to the destruction of Joe headquarters, where Scarlet and What's-His-Face are trying to figure out a way to stop the drill.
This is like trying to stop a Sherman tank with a fly swatter.
But then they realize that they don't actually have to stop, but they just have to get one of the hatches open so that they can get inside and use it for their own purposes.
Breaker, you are one clever devil.
Also, we see the rest of the Joe forces going to attack Watchdog. Also, this one plane really tripped me out because I almost thought it was a 3D model. As the Joe forces get closer to the 3D Watchdog, more and more of their forces are taken out. And they start to realize maybe they can't maintain this position forever.
We're soldiers, Flint, not machines like Watchdog. We gotta pull back and catch our breath.
But just as they're about to pull back and retreat, Gara and What's-His-Face pull up in the drill that they took control of earlier. And in a shocking turn of events, use the drill to completely destroy Watchdog from underneath the surface. Which is animated really cool, by the way, for the time. I mean, just look at this. How is this not cool? We cut back to Cobra watching his poor little AI get completely destroyed.
Both destroyed.
And it's actually pretty funny, by the way.
Try to see the bright side.
Bright side.
But Destro doesn't like Cobra's little baby tantrum, so he puts him in timeout.
That will be quite enough.
Release me.
And probably kills him off screen, which gives Shipwreck the perfect opportunity to escape. And back to the now destroyed Joe headquarters. You know that guy from the Department of Defense? Well, he starts going on about how, well, I was against the idea from the start. Dr. Hamill had an impeccable record, which I find very hard to believe. But this was the 80s when things were a little more cynical, so I guess I'll just have to take his word for it. And then everything goes back to normal in their world, and they never use AI again. Hopefully. And that's the end of the episode. Now, I actually think that everything about the AI in this episode actually lines up pretty well with what we think of it now. From it making all the wrong mistakes, to the people on the team being like, nope, I do not want to use this. It really goes to show how timeless these ideas really are, and maybe how well G.I. Joe as a whole has held up over time. And also Cobra's crash at the end of the episode is actually hilarious. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. There's just not really a lot else to say about it, except if you guys want me to cover more episodes of this show in the future, then let me know. And maybe you'll see 80s cartoon versus something else or whatever. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Stay safe on the internet and against AI. God loves you, and we'll see you all next time. So when I made the cartoons on trial video, a thought had occurred to me that hadn't occurred when I was making it, and that I should have actually discussed the fact that Bob and Elastigirl, or whatever his name is, Scarlet, was it? Oh wait, that's G.I. Joe brain talking, sorry. The point is, I should have discussed about how they started a family and had kids, and how they had adapted since the glory days and the trial and everything else. And I think it would have been pretty interesting to discuss, but the time has passed. So, yeah, my bad. Also, Also, there was something else I was gonna talk about, but I forgot. Maybe I'll remember it for the next episode. But yeah, as for the actual G.I. Joe episode itself, if I had to add anything onto it, I guess I kind of wonder why they used a drill to defeat the AI and not like hacking it or disabling it or something else, which is definitely different from what we would do now. Like, why don't they just turn off the PC, bro, and log off? But I guess it had control of all the Joe systems or something, so I don't know. But they have Codebreaker, so couldn't he have done something? But also, all the Joe systems were disabled, but I don't know. I'm just rambling by this point. Surprisingly, this is also another video that I wanted to make for a while. I've actually had like 8 ideas, give or take, 1 or 2, I wanted to make for a while, and this is one of them. So, yeah. If you enjoyed it, then more ideas that I've had in bulk for a while will be coming soon. So, yay. I'm actually making these, not like one after another, but I'm actually stockpiling them, like I said I was doing before. So, I actually have no idea what you guys' reaction was to the Koran trial. If it got like 10 views, if it's at 10 million views, I have no idea. But I hope you guys liked it. I know I liked making it, even though it was a little bit difficult. Hopefully this will be a little bit less difficult than that. Bit of a shorter project to take a slight break. But yeah, that's all that I have to say, I guess. So, bye-bye.